Hey guys, Motorcarnut here, and today we're going to be removing an engine on a 2011 Toyota Camry. This is the 2A RFE engine. This engine is found in the Scion. It's found in the RAV4 and in the Camry. And now certain models, I did a video on doing a head gasket replacement because that's what this car needs, I think. I know the head's gone. I don't know if the engine has to be rebuilt or whatever, but it has to be pulled on a Camry because it doesn't have a brace on the bottom so you can get the timing chain cover off. When you take the timing chain cover off and move it out, the shaft of the crank is in the way of the frame and it can't come out. And you just can't do it, let alone put it back when you have all the sealant on it and seal it properly. That's one of the major problems with doing a head gasket job on this car. That's why it's so much money. Toyota dropped the ball on that. There's no reason for it to be that tight like that. To replace a head gasket, you got to take the engine out. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're going to take the engine out of this car. We're going to do a removal video. We're going to do a head gasket replacement when it's on a stand. And then we're going to do a install video and start the car up. All right, so it's going to be 3 separate videos, but this one is the removal. All right, guys, so now, first thing you got to do is disconnect the negative battery. You always disconnect the negative first, 10 millimeter, then the positive, 10 millimeter. Then take the brace out. There's also 10 millimeters. All right, and you just take the brace out, take the battery out. And over here, this little snorkel's 10 millimeter and 10 millimeter. All right, let's see what else is going on here. And then we're going to do those 2 things right there. What you can do, take the cap off, radiator cap and oil cap, and drain the coolant and drain the antifreeze out of it. Take the dipstick out. Okay, and over here, I think this is 12 millimeter. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4 to take this cover off. Here, 1 is here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Take that off. So we're going to do those right then and there. All right, I can even take this off now. This is just rubber mounts, like this. And it comes off just like that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, this, and that. And we'll come back and we're going to continue. Okay, and as you take the parts off, you see you have all the screws that goes to the shield. All right, the little snorkel, you got the little screws here. Put everything back where. Don't put all screws in one big bucket. You're gonna pay for that later. All right, and you can put. You don't even have to put them in bags and then mark them. You just put them in the self-explanatory, the part and the fasteners, and each one. And as you do the removal and you do the install. You just reverse the procedure. And it just goes together so much quicker. All right, so now I took out what I said before. We're going to take the air cleaner off, the air box. All right, you have a connector, another connector, take it off, and whatever. You see this hose, you take the hose off from here. Don't take it off from here because then the hose hangs away. You want to take everything, whatever you take it out, try to take it out from the part that the hose itself is going to come with it, so it's less things to take off. Then you follow any hoses like over here. You see this one right here? You take that off. All right, I'll take it off and I'll show you all the connections. I'm going to take that off. Over here, take the hose off, unplug the O2 sensor in the front. All right, these are 12s or 13s. Take all of them out. All right, down here. I don't know what that is. If it's a 17 on that side, and on the other side, underneath, we're going to go. So we're going to take the exhaust with the cat out in one shot. All right, so I'm going to do the air box and then the cat and then continue. Now this little clamp here that holds the O2 wire, you see these little tabs right here? You push these in and then you pull it out. All right, so it's basically stuck in there like that. You hold this with a little pliers, bolt them in, and then push this out. All right, so you don't break it and you can use it again. If you break it, you can use a zip tie. Okay, so what you got to do first is take this off first from here, okay? And then the fastener is here, and on the other side, you take it out and take the filter out, And then you got your 10 millimeter, the three of them right there to take this out. Of course, the snorkel over here, the intake, hooks up to the intake manifold down there. You can't reach it until this is out of the way. I already disconnected this. And that hose, this hose right here. And whatever I take out, I'm going to show you what I did. Here we go. So the other thing is this back, well, this back over here, there's a hose that goes right here. And that one is right here. It was like this somewhere. You just keep that to the side. And just like you want, if you want, you can mark it. Let's say like you could put like a little white marker, 1, 2, and then on the terminal itself, I mean where it plugs in, 1, 2, so you know where it goes if it's your first time doing it. All right, and then we take that out and we're gonna continue. What the initiative is over here, you see the electrical thick harness over here. Basically we want to take off all the electrical connectors with the harness and we're gonna fold it this way. So maybe that'll help you out. And over here, we have the heater core hose. Take that out, and pretty much anything that's in the way, anything that's on the transmission is fine. But the wire, you see this wire harness and everything. All of these things, everything has to be unhooked and folded this way. All right, over here, these are 12 millimeters. Now, to get the one down here, it's a little bit on the angle. You may strip it. You got to take the alternator off first. I didn't do that yet, obviously. I'm going to do that to get to that one. So that's where I am at that over there, right there. Over here, we're going to start taking off the ignition coil plugs. And down here, alternator, and on the AC compressor, the oil pressure over here. All those harness, basically we're going to want to fold it away so it doesn't interfere with taking the engine out. So I'm going to take off most of these plugs and just show you what I did. And over here, the fuel line. Just make sure you just take this plastic cover off, and you're going to have to use a quick connect line that goes in here. You push it in there while you push it, while you squeeze it, and it pops out. I'll show you how to do that. You're going to need a tool. Looks something like this. There's two halves of this. This one's broken, but you put one half in here and one half on the other side. But sometimes it has more than two prongs that keep it together. In this application, you see right here, 10 millimeter and 10 millimeter right near the pressure regulator. You can take those off, so you don't have to take this off if you don't have a special tool. All right, that's what I'll do now. I have the tool, but I'll do it that way too, so you guys can follow along. Alternator bolts, 10 millimeter, 14 millimeter. Long one and a short one. Long one is right here. Short one is right there. All right, then you take a little pry bar and you pry it out. I'm jumping around a little bit because I got to get the alternator out before I get the exhaust manifold bolt over there. And then, like I told you, down there, those were 14s and a 14. And on the bottom, that hooks the exhaust. All right, that's also a 14 deep socket on both sides. And this whole exhaust with the converter will come right out. That's what I'm going to do next. And this is what it looks like coming out. These are the flange bolts I was talking about. They're both 14 millimeter. These as well. And this whole unit comes out, gives a lot of space. I'm going to take the fans off. You don't really have to, but I'm going to take them off because I think the radiator has to come out because it's leaking, but that's not part of this video. In other words, right now you have plenty of room. You don't have to take the fans out, but I'm going to take them out because of that reason. All right, and from there, what we're going to do, now we can unhook the electrical connectors to the AC compressor, and then we're going to come to the back. You have the fuel injectors. They have plugs. They have to come out. And it's a couple little tricky ones in the back. You guys just have to follow them around because the whole idea is to get the harness over to this side and the transmission side out of the way. All right. And you see, you just disconnect everything. The little clips that hold the wire harness are the big pain in the neck, but they come off. Just don't break them because you have to put them back. Now I just take this little bracket off. You could take this top mount out. It's not holding nothing. That's just for side to side. So looks like they're all 14s. And we just take all of this off. See, because now we're going to start to come to the back. And over here, all right, we're going to have to see these electrical lines wherever they, and there's going to be the injector plugs too, connectors. So like I said, you got to take off any kind of an electrical connector that's going to stop it from folding over to the transmission side. So now I'm going to take this bracket off now, and then we're going to continue like so. And again, keep all your bolts where they are. This way, when you come to put it together, everything is so much easier to do. And so basically, like I said, you want to drape the whole harness over this way, out of the way, to give you access to the engine to transmission bolts, and the transmission stays in the car. When we pull the engine, it's a lot neater. On this side, there's going to be a wire harness here to a white plug that goes underneath the intake manifold. You don't have to touch that. Just unhook the plug, and that harness will stay over here. You don't have to dig deep in that one, because that one is really hard to get. I believe that's the knock sensor, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, you don't have to dig and get that one, okay? But other than that, the hardest ones, well, if you can consider them hard, or they're just a little more time consuming, is the ones that are in the back that connect. There's brackets here. You can take the 10 millimeter bolts off instead of trying to get the connector out of the bracket. Sometimes it's easier that way. That's what I did. And the injectors. And there's a whole bunch of wires. You little by little got to just take them off. But when you fold it back, basically all the wires are pretty much like bent right near the connector, so it's really hard to mess it up. Now you got to take the compressor off, but you don't disconnect none of the lines. There's 12 millimeter deep socket bolts. You take them out and just let the compressor hang. All right, nice and carefully. In the back over here, there's going to be, you can take this vacuum line off over here, and there's one that goes down over there. I think that's for the power steering. We have to take the power steering off. I'm going to see when I get down there which is the easiest way to do that. So I'm going to do those right now. And then what you could do is you could start loosening. I think these are 17 millimeter. 1, 2, I think we're going to have to take the starter out, because I think that's where the converter bolts are on this one. I don't see them anywhere else. So I'm going to take the AC compressor and just going to loosen it, take it off the engine. Now, there's going to be a 14 millimeter bolt here and a 14 millimeter up there. You're going to take those bolts out, and the power steering pulley with the lines is just going to stay in the car on the bottom. Okay? I'm pretty sure that's how it is. And then we're going to take on the other side, okay? And then over here, I'm going to take off, I'll put the light on over here. This is, looks like 14. On the top here, there's going to be 2 more. You can see them up there. All right, that's just to loosen this off the block. And there's the power steering pump right there. Right there. And that should stay in the car with the lines. I'm going to go on top and make sure. And on the other side, all right, we had the other 2 bottom 12 millimeter bolts for the compressor. So I'm just going to wedge that off the block, and then we're going to continue. Now, if it's hard for you to get to that other bolt up there in the power steering, right, you could lift the engine and take this mount out. You take the plastic cover here and here, and just take this mount out and lower the engine, and you'll be able to get to that. All right, that's just, an idea. And basically, while we're here, if they would have made this with bolts, that this piece can unhook like it does on the RAV4, then we could have left, we can take the cover out, it would have came out and slid right down, just like it does in the RAV4, but this one now we got to take the engine out because they didn't design it that way. Camrys, everybody loves them, but in the meantime, whatever. All right, so when you get on the bottom, we're going to get the converter bolts. All right, they're right here. There's going to be a little plastic cover here. You take the cover off. You see them over here? That's 14 millimeter. Over here, also 14 millimeter, 14 millimeter. Up here, 14 millimeter. And then on the top, there's one over here going this way, 14 millimeter. And the rest, they're on the top for the engine to transmission mount. Okay? And what else we're going to do? That's what I'm going to do right now, and then we'll continue it. Okay, we're on the top again. And you have to get a 14 millimeter bolt. You see where I got the wrench? It goes in the back all the way down over there. You just grab it there with a socket. Over here, 17 millimeter and 17 millimeter. And that takes care of the engine transmission bolts. You want to get some brackets so you can hold the engine with a crane. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a brace there. And then I'm going to lower the engine and take off the bolt out of the power steering pulley because I couldn't get it. I mean, you could probably get it, but, it has to come out anyway, so just lower it a little bit to get that out. And then basically, just make sure that the compressor is out. It's, away from the engine. And it should come right out after that, I believe. I don't think there's any more vacuum lines here. I'll let you know as I'm doing it. There's going to be a 14 millimeter bolt, like I told you, on the bottom. And there's going to be a 14 millimeter bolt around this area. And don't forget, there's one all the way in the back down there. That's a 14. These two top ones are 17. And actually, I'm sorry, two top ones are 17. And the one that's on the top over here near the start is also a 17. Then the bottom ones over there are 14s. Okay, so what I did is I raised it up a little bit. I took this mount out. All right, you got 17 millimeter bolts all around. All right, the top bolt is a 19, and then you raise it up with a floor jack to get this out, and then you let it sit down. And what it does, it lowers it enough that now you can get the bolt up here and take that bolt out and leave the power steering in the car, so all the power steering fluid, everything doesn't go all over the place, stays a little neater. All right, and take this bracket off. These are 14 millimeters. Take this bracket off, and it should have enough room to slide out and out. But I may just take this bolt off and just take this, just the bolt and the pulley. I may just take that off to see how much room I have. Oh, before we pull it out, I made a little bit extra room. I took off the tensioner and the idler pulleys. They go in the back over there, and the other one's over here, 10 millimeters. This one is actually in the back over there. This one's in the front over here. And I took off the crankshaft pulley, all right, to give you a little bit more space. So when you pull it out, the flywheel, you have enough room to pull it straight out. Now, usually, when I'm doing these things, I usually do them from the bottom. I pull the engine and tranny in one shot. But, for the regular guy, that's not going to help you out. I mean, that's why I'm doing it this way, is if you were in your backyard, driveway, or whatever, you don't really need this tool, but it comes in handy if you have one to hold it up. And obviously, you're going to need an engine lift to take it out. And that's why I'm doing this video this way, as if, I'm thinking about the average guy doing it in his driveway, trying to save a couple $1,000s. All right? Okay, so I put a hook here and a hook in the back. Got the crane up there. All right, it's pretty much has clearance. I put a jack underneath the transmission so it wouldn't be down. It has to be pretty much level. You see that side? See, it's pretty nice and straight, unless it'll be down and the engine won't come out. So just put a jack under the tranny until it's pretty much level like this. And now we're going to just jack it right up and out. Now, I took off the hood shocks and just put a temporary brace there to give more room as you're lifting it out. And we're out. through the top. All right, so what you want to do, I left the axle in, we're taking it out, but I'm probably going to remove it when I put it back in. It makes it easier because it's a really tight fit. So it just makes it easy. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. See, power steering stays on that side over there. AC on this side. Transmission, keep it pretty much straight. Don't let it tilt down or tilt up, so it can just slide back in. All right. And now I'm going to make a video. I'm going to take it apart to see how much damage is all this gasket maker made. And all the orifices of wherever coolant flows. Got to check everything now and see if it's savable. You know, if the block is not warped, it could be rebuilt. You know, and we'll just take it from there. All right, guys, Motorcarnut, please subscribe, hit that like button. Any questions pertaining to the video, leave them below. I answer all my questions. If you learned something, I appreciate a super thanks or a donation to the channel through PayPal to keep me going. And I appreciate all the feedback. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.